What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 28 of Rip City Rundown. This is the week three recap of the Blazers season. Had a lot of action this week, not just on the court, but also off the court. We're going to be talking a lot more important news than we have in the past weeks. It'll be a little bit different formatted this week. We'll really focus on the main stories first, and then we will go through game by game. We will obviously focus on some games more than others. We are recording this right after the big win against the Lakers. Got a nice win streak going. West, how you feeling first off?
First off, feeling good. If you asked me that question at the beginning of the week, more specifically after the Cleveland Cavaliers game, I would have told you I hated myself and I hated this team. However, two good wins against the Pacers and the Lakers, both coming at home. Got to protect home court, protect Moda. I believe we did the podcast before the Hornets game, if I can recall.
Yeah, we did. It was
so we ended up getting 5 games in between podcasts. Went 2-3, not ideal, but considering we started 0-3, I will take it. So yeah, I'm feeling all right. I will say, Dame kind of got out of the slump a little bit, kind of ruined the title.
A little bit. I mean, we will go ahead and hop into this. I mean, before we start, though, Cody, are you feeling good about the Blazers this week? Initial thoughts?
Ups and downs again. The consistency of this team is just all over the place. We're losing to a lottery team, Cavaliers team, and then a Sixers team without Harris, Simmons, of course, and Embiid. And then we come out at home, barely squeak out a win against a lottery team, Pacers. And then, of course, Lakers, big win, but of course, missing players. But at this moment right now, I'm feeling good, but again, 2 days ago, not so happy.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember it was 2 years ago when we obviously had that super slow start, and this time of year we were probably 3-8 or something, or 3-6, and then by the time we got to Christmas, we were like, all right, now can we maybe make the run to 500? We were hoping to make the run to 500 back 2 years ago. I remember starting with that Pelicans game, the ones that we ended up going to where Dame went 0 for 10 from 3. We've talked about that before. But I say that just because it's good to get back to 500 because this is not as bad as it's been in the past.
Speaking of Dame,
yes. We're going to start off with Dame. That is the title of the podcast. That might be the reason you clicked on this in the first place. Dame has been bad this year. Obviously, he had a very solid game this past game against the Lakers. He ended up going 9 for 19 from the field, 6 for 14 from 3, 25 points. But over the full year, it's been very down for him. He's averaging only 17 points a game, and he is shooting the ball very poor. 33% from the field, 21% from 3. We have our opinions on why he's doing bad. It could just be a regular slump. It's good to see him do good this game, but we still got to talk about how bad he's
crazy. Go ahead.
No, Cody, you go ahead.
All right. If you were to tell me that Dame had these numbers at the beginning of the year, I would completely deny it and say that is BS. But that just shows how crazy that this slump is. This isn't a normal slump. I mean, 10 games, that's a long time.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I was going to say. I was kind of against the Pacers, he had 4 points. 4 points.
I don't know if Dame's ever had under 5 in his game in his career.
I think I saw a stat. It was the second time in his career he had under 5 points or something like that. But look, he had 26 against the Cavs. He had 20 against the 76ers. But the problem is against the 76ers, he had 20 on 20 shots.
It's the shooting.
Against the Cavs, he had 26 on 27 shots. Efficiency just across the board is way down. I don't know. It doesn't even seem like he's pressing. There has been rumors that he picked up an abdominal injury while with Team USA, and he's still nursing that. There's also Also, what do y'all think about the whole new ball theory?
Yeah, I mean that's a reason that I've seen all around the NBA. A lot of shooting numbers is down.
It actually is. But quick stat. I believe it is the lowest. Average points per game per team it's the lowest since 2005. I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 3 biggest reasons, or actually 4 biggest reasons or possibilities on why Dame is slumping is 1, it could be a new ball because that seems to be a little bit of an issue to a lot of players. It could be how the NBA is reffing now. I don't have much of an issue with Dame because there hasn't been a lot of instances where I've seen him like fishing for fouls a lot like other people like Harden or Trae Young. It could be an injury. He could still be battling a little abdominal injury. But then in 4, I think could just be a slump. Like, this happens to players. It's just very odd that it's happening right at the beginning of the year. And 10 games, well, I think people have gone through slumps for 10 games a lot of the times, like star players. I think it is just weird that this is something we've never seen before.
I think part of it, I think maybe a little bit of it can be attributed to it. I really do believe Dame is trying to play, more of a true point guard right now, kind of.
He's 4th in the league in assists.
Yeah, he's 4th in the league in assists. So, like, I'm just looking at one of the games we really were like, oh my gosh, this man can't shoot right now. It was against the Hornets, where he went 5 for 20, 2 for 14 from 3 for 14 points. He had the same amount of 3-point attempts as total points. That's not very good. However, 12 assists. So, I mean, he's passing the ball well. Teams are still respecting his shot, even though he's in this slump. So I am happy to see him, kind of like passing the ball, being a pass first guy, letting CJ norm. Because, offensively, at least this team is probably the deepest we've had since Dame's been here. I mean, I guess you can make an argument for the Aldridge, Batum, and Matthews team. But this is we have Robert Covington and Norman Powell as our 3 and 4 compared to Mo Harkless and Aminu, who, no disrespect to them, but they were not offensively gifted players.
Yeah.
So,
do you guys think age is a factor? I mean, 31, it's not that old. It's like top of peak performance for NBA players on average, but, for a point guard, they tend to deteriorate a little bit early. And even as, shooting's a skill, but it's not like Dame needs to,
I would say
necessarily jump as high.
Yeah. I would say he had a very, very just packed off season, whether that was physically or mentally, just with all the rumors going around and obviously playing for Team USA still. So,
well, yeah. If you're just looking at it from just off the court standpoint, other than Team USA, obviously of Team USA, he's filming a movie for Space Jam. He got married. I completely forgot about his offseason. He got married. Packed. He had a packed offseason. He's still probably grinding, But the interesting thing is, I don't think he doesn't necessarily look wrong. Shots are just not going in. If he's having a normal year, we're not talking about this at all. Yeah. I truly believe it's just a slump. I think he'll come out of it.
Now, someone took his powers.
It's like Space Jam 1, bro. What the frick?
Thunderstruck.
Now,
oh god, Thunderstruck KD.
Are you guys one of the those people you see it a lot on social media that is outwardly kind of hating on Dame? There's a lot of people hating on Dame.
I can attest to this.
Or are you one of those people where it's he's been loyal to us?
So this is how my Blazer fandom goes. I wake up, I have a great day all day, fantastic day. I watch the Blazers and I get put in a bad mood for about 30 minutes, and I hate Dame for about 30 minutes, and I'm like, you know what? I don't. This man's done so much for the franchise. He's still a really good player. He'll come out of it. I believe in him. But there are about 30 minutes of every post game where I would love to take to Twitter or the internet and just spew hate.
Yeah.
Yourself.
Speaking of hate,
I'm sorry.
That moves us into our next story. That is another huge topic.
A segue.
In the NBA. Shams, don't know the last name, but Shams reported last night, 23 hours ago, the Portland Trail Blazers and owner Jody Allen have launched an investigation into President of Basketball Operations Neil Olshey hiring a firm to probe alleged workplace misconduct. And then moving on, Chris Haynes tweeted, Portland Trail Blazers launch investigation into GM Neil Olshey with staffers alleging a 10-year toxic, hostile work environment of intimidation, public profanity-laced tirades, mental anguish, among other bullying tactics.
Hate to hear that.
So this is a video. Yeah. I already kind of discussed this, me personally, my thoughts. But there's not a lot of details about the whole situation right now, but that was kind of a Blazer news bomb last night. How are we feeling about that?
Let's just hope that that's not the case and that it doesn't go any more than what it is right now, because
I agree.
It's not what the Blazers need right now.
Yeah, that's a off the court distraction. They'll probably, obviously there's going to be an investigation. honestly, I have no idea. There's no details. I don't really want to pick sides because I don't know Neil Olshey personally at all. I will say though, I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to say where we know them from, but I believe, and all three of us will say there are a few people in the organization that we do know, and
Yeah,
that probably know
our
Neil.
sources.
We have sources, and we're not going to name names and where they're from and what they do. But I don't know. I'm honestly, I'd be curious to talk to them and what they thought about Neil as a leader and as a GM. Because this is purely off the court stuff. This isn't about Neil building a team or anything.
We should definitely contact those sources now that I think about it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I think it'd be interesting because, and look, I will say, in my opinion, this is what I think. I could be wrong for this, but I do think that there's going to be this, when this news came out, I think that's from like half of the employees. I think half the employees feel one way and half feel the other way.
Yeah, in the initial report from Chris Haynes, from Shams, it said that one person has come out and said it, but then in Chris Haynes it says that several have come out and said it.
Yeah. So yeah, lack of
detail.
There's honestly not much to say about it from a detail standpoint, other than, we need to acknowledge that it is a thing and that it's not just going to go away, and there will be an investigation, and, that sucks, but hopefully, there's nothing big that comes out of this.
Yeah. There's really nothing else we can say. But
moving on.
With that being said, a lot of the details, if you want to know more about that, I gave the full scoop in the other video that I posted earlier today or yesterday by the time you're watching this. So make sure to go look at that. But now we'll just go through what we normally do. Our game recaps, how we're feeling.
Games.
Let's start with the
Hornets
Lakers game since it's the most recent one. So give me some stats from Lakers, Cody.
All right, I had the Hornets one up, so give me 1 second.
Yeah, go
All
ahead.
Right. So tonight, obviously, a W. Love to see it. Needed to take advantage of this one, given that Anthony Davis and LeBron were out. So the stats.
Wait, was Anthony Davis out because of a tummy ache? Is that what I heard?
Stomach cut.
Okay. So, well, first of all, let me get a sore ankle. This man plays one game, rest for a week, repeats. He went a little too hard on Taco Tuesday. He was dunking. He was stuck on the wrong rim tonight. Let's just say that. It was a toilet rim. Okay. Now, jokes aside, the Lakers, both teams shot an atrocious, actually. Lakers, 34%. We shot 37%. Do you guys think we shot 37%? If I were to tell you that?
Like it.
Yeah, it didn't look like it. 27 from three. They out-rebounded us barely, but we won basically every other stat: offensive rebounds, steals, turnovers. It was great to see that Dame came back. 25 points, 9 for 19, 6 for 14 on three. So that's just under 50% on three, which you absolutely love to see. Nurk didn't miss tonight, 6 for 6. Love to see that. Powell and CJ kind of struggled, as well as Simons. I guess that's where the 30% came from. And Russell Westbrook, 1 for 13, 8 points, 3 air balls. He had more air balls than field goals, times 3.
Jeez. Yeah, it amazes me, sometimes when people, are like, gee, what Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook's better than, Dame. And, obviously I'm biased, so I'm not going to throw my 2 cents in the equation. But if you're a neutral fan and you say that Westbrook is better than Dame, you need to become unblind. Bro. Sure. That's all I'm saying. But I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch much of this game. It's a little busy tonight, but I did watch the second half, third quarter, especially. And we just looked honestly just like the better team. They're out, they're 2 stars. This is what the Blazers need to do when they run into teams that are hurt.
Sure.
You have to. It's almost like a scheduling win. We were on the second night of a back-to-back, which is impressive. It gets us to 500. Yeah, we only shot 27% from 3. Even more staggering, we took 55 threes. It's a lot of threes. That's a lot of 3-pointers. Wow.
Yeah, I'm same with you, though. I didn't really watch much of the first half, so by the time I started watching, we already had a pretty big lead. Obviously, with no LeMahieu or A. Disney, the Lakers really stood no chance. But they look really bad, the Lakers, I have to say. Coming into the season, they were like the big favorite because they pick up Russell Westbrook. But, man, they looked bad. I don't know.
I don't know if you guys do think this, but do you think teams, I guess, try harder against the Lakers, given that they're the Lakers? Most of the people are watching. It's like,
Yeah,
we're
I
playing
think
against the Lakers tonight.
I think there's something to that a little bit. I think it'd probably be more when LeBron or AD would be playing, because the Blazers are going to be like, oh my gosh, the starting lineup of Westbrook, Rondo, Bradley, Howard, Mel. I mean, come on, dude. Oh, I'm so scared. It's like, come on. I mean, you gotta beat
Past their
teams.
prime.
Yeah, it's a bunch of aging superstars.
Yeah, it's a bunch of
Sorry,
washed bums.
aging former basically everyone is past their prime. Yeah, exactly.
It was very nice to see Melo on the opposing side.
And breaking shots.
Bad shots tonight.
Yeah.
All
right, do you want to go to the first game? Go back in order.
Oh, yeah.
Halloween game?
Yeah. We'll go ahead and talk about the Hornets game. Get that over with.
That was
okay. So this game was on Halloween. And
wow, that's a while ago.
It was a scary game because the Blazers got destroyed 125 to 113. This was the only game this week I didn't watch, so I can't really go into too much depth. Yeah, good, Drew. I'll give you the stats, though. Hornets shot 51%, 47 from three. Dang, that's really good.
You're not going to win.
We shot 44%, 31 from three. Dame, once again, struggled. 5 for 20, 2 for 14 on threes.
Oh.
You hate to see that. CJ, 10 for 24, 25 points, carrying the squad, but just could not carry enough. Powell, 6 for 15, 14 points. Nurk, 13 points, 14 boards, though. And then everyone else just scattered. I will say Simons had a good game, though. 19 points, 6 for 9. So, yeah, let's go over that game. How are you guys thinking about that? You watch it, first of all.
Yeah, I watched majority of that game. Honestly, the one stat that stood out to me that I remember like watching the game and being like, sheesh, is 47% from three for the Hornets. And the Blazers, I was reading actually, the Blazers' defensive scheme, it encourages threes to an extent. So you're gonna be giving up looks to the opposing team, and sometimes it's just a make or miss league. But, you can give a little more resistance to 47%, That's kind of why we lost to the Cavs. I mean, you have the Cavs who
we'll get into that.
Yeah, just jacking threes and making threes. And, it's not a good sign when Osman's making 4 threes and Dame's making 1. Yeah. I mean, that's just not – that's kind of not right. But, yeah, it was the 3-point defense for me there. Also, Dame really struggled that game, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. The positives I saw from that game was another great game from Simons. 6 for 9, 5 for 8 from 3. That's exactly what we want every night from him and more. And then I liked what I saw from Nurkic as well. The 13-14 game. He seemed to have gotten a lot better from his cold start throughout this week. So that was good to see. But other than that, that was just a game that hurt to watch because we had a 8-point lead, 10-point lead in a lot of the third quarter, and we got outscored by 11 in the fourth. So, we got outscored by like 17 in the second half. So,
not good.
With that play, you don't deserve to win. But moving on, 76ers.
Okay,
that was maybe even worse. This was the following day if Stamina had a reason for that, but still, absolutely no excuse. They are missing their top 3 players. Your top 3 players. And we lost 113 to 103 the following day against the Sixers. And this was just a gross game. We shot 47% from field goal, but they shot 51%. 51%. Powell was leading scorer, 22 points. Dame once again struggled. 7 for 20, 2 for 9 from 3. Not as bad as last game, but still not what you like to see. CJ, 8 for 20, 3 for 8 for 3. Bit better. Nothing much. Simons, 7 for 12, 3 for 7. Once again, Simons, if you were to tell me that Simons was an all-star in 5 years, I wouldn't be surprised. But, just a gross game. Looking at the stats, it's not like we got destroyed, but obviously missing their 3 superstars, that hurts.
That game was really frustrating to watch because, again, like those are scheduled games where you need to beat a team that's missing their stars. Because the weird thing about the NBA is just because the 76ers would have, if they had Embiid and Harris, we still could have won that game. It's not, we're not just going to automatically win if they're out, which we saw, and we're not just going to automatically lose if they play, And
the thing is, no one from the Sixers, stood up. I mean, Curry, 10 for 17, Like, is that like
There's
sure?
just
If you had
all
a
of them.
nuclear game, sure, but that's not even like
Efficient.
crazy.
Like all around, they were just
Better.
like players that just hit timely shots for him. Like George's Niang had like 2 threes in the fourth quarter. He had 21 points. Like George's
No.
Niang. Do we think
Who's
George's
that?
Niang is ever going off for 21 again this season? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Curry had a pretty good game. He was 7 for 7 on 2-pointers, so couldn't stop him inside.
That's just efficient. It's just efficient.
But this is another one of those games that I don't really want to dwell on, just because it was not a fun game to watch.
Even the Cavs game, I mean, it's kind of the same old story. Like
I don't even want to go through the stats in that one.
Yeah, the Cavs game was just, I watched that game intently actually because I was like, all right, it's a good opportunity to get back. And, they just, again, shot the living daylights out of the ball. We didn't. Dame struggled.
50% from 3 for them.
Yeah, 50%. The defense was absolutely awful.
Yeah. But we were playing we played it like a blitz where we were blitzing the ball handler and then they would just pass it out and then make one extra pass and have an open 3 and they made it half the time. And I'm sorry, but
they had
3 points half the time. You're not going to win.
They had their turnovers. We forced 19 turnovers, which is obviously because of the type of defense we played. But it was you take blitz. Some, then you give up 3 points.
Yeah, and maybe to be fair, that the Cavaliers came into the game as a bottom 5 team in 3-point percentage, and they shoot 50. Yeah, they did.
No, I know. That's like I'm giving that face because we
and of course
happened.
And we're the team that lets them get back on track.
Yeah.
However, Cody, I'd love to hear the stats on the Pacers game. That was a big game to get back on. Yeah.
All right. So following that, Friday night game. This was yesterday. Well, I don't know when this will be uploaded, but Friday night we beat the Pacers 110-106, and Dame shot. Drum roll.
Dang.
2 for 13, over 6 from 3.
A
whopping 4 points.
We got a 4 for 4 from Wendy's.
But here's the thing. We won. So I don't know if we want to view that as good or bad. But anyway, CJ carried 27 points. Powell, 25, 8 for 14. Covington
I love Covington.
3s. 5 for 10. Let's go.
Clutch
Big threes down the stretch
12,
too.
19 points. Nurk with a double-double. Oh, wait, sorry, 9 rebounds. 1 rebound short of a double-double. Simons, once again, solid, consistent, 16 points. 4 for 6 on 3, 6 for 10. We shot 48%, 43 from 3. Our players hit our shots from 3 this game, other than Dame. And then, rebounds, everything pretty even. Not much that stood out on the Pacers stat-wise, I would say, either. So, yeah, that was a great win. Let's get into that following those 3 losses.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, you go.
Okay, sorry. I was just going to say that was a big win because that would have been detrimental because we were up big to start that game. I believe we got up 18 at one point, and then they just slowly chipped away. They started making shots. We started, we started missing shots.
We had to come back. We were down like 6 at one point.
Yeah, we were down 6, but Robert Covington really clutched up. I mean, that right there, that game shows how valuable he is to the team. He's not going to fill up the points. He's not going to fill it up or anything. But he's good for a timely 3. And and he made a dunk.
I was literally just about to say when you said he's really good for timely 3s. You want to know he's not good at timely dunks.
Yeah, well,
but
that's okay. Last year.
Double OT.
Yeah, that was last year. We good. But yeah, I thought that was and to be honest, we won by 4. Dame had 4 points. Dame doesn't score 4 points. We ain't winning that game.
That's facts. Hey.
I'm saying.
Dame did have 11 assists though, so it's not like he was out there just running up the court.
It's passing. So yeah, that's kind of our breakdown for the week. I would say I want to get into some questions I have for y'all. It's kind of like my weekly questions that I pose to you guys, and you guys kind of explain to me your answer and stuff. So I want to start off with this. Both Norman Powell and Anthony Simons have probably been the 2 most consistent, I would say, contributors so far. Simons coming off the bench and Norman in the starting lineup. It seems like they're both shooting efficiently every night. Powell's good for like high teens, maybe even in the 20s, and Simons is getting, low teens, and he's pushing up in the high teens. Do you guys think Simons or Powell have been more consistent this year? And who would you give like the early season MVP to between those 2, at least in terms of consistency?
Okay. So looking at those two players, they're both shooting over 50% from the field, which is just awesome, and both at 45 from three.
Mm-hmm.
So they are both having elite shooting seasons right now, both shooting around 11 shots a game. Powell's obviously scoring a little more, but I've been all over Anthony Simons this year, and I think Anthony Simons has just been huge for this team. He's been the man to lead the bench unit, and he even comes in crunch time. There's one point where we're playing a 4-guard lineup in one of these games. I don't know what it was, but it just shows how much we need Anthony Simons on the floor, and that doesn't take anything away from Powell, but I think Anthony Simons has been huge for this team this year.
Yep. I'm going to agree with that one. I mean, but to be honest, there's really no wrong answer with this one. You can go either way. They've both been really consistent, but I'm going to agree with Simons on this one. I mean, there were just moments in these games where, like, he would take over. He would be the one that we give the ball to and score in the moment. Like, I remember when I think it was 2 games ago when the bench unit was out, the game was slipping away, ball was in his hands. ISO moment, and he, like, made a couple nice layups and shots. So I'm going to say Simons as well.
Yeah, I would definitely. I think Simons is he's been the more surprising of the two, I think. I think Norman was always, good he's a solid veteran, contributes. But yeah, Simons' production off the bench has been huge because, like you said, Cody, in past years, our bench just gets absolutely destroyed. So in terms of like plus minus, I mean, if you just want to look in the playoffs, Ronnie Hollis Jefferson for the series was minus 69, but or sorry, minus 67, excuse me. Which is no shade to him. It just shows that's a great stat to kind of show the overall ineptitude of our bench last year. But if Simons can make that leap, that's kind of like that third guard. Powell's a guard, but he plays small forward, so I'm not going to classify him as a guard here. And interesting, two Anthony Simons. But yeah, I think that's fair because he's been the most consistent for sure. I feel like every time he shoots, he's probably the one Blazer right now I'm confident in. If he shoots, I'm like, okay, I'm good with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
do you have another question on your mind?
Do you have another question on your mind? I could throw out a question, a little buy or sell, maybe.
Oh, a little buy or sell. You want to throw one out? If you don't, I have.
Yeah,
one.
I'll throw out a buy or sell. Let's think here. Buy or sell? No, I'm just gonna talk about I'm gonna say a specific player, and you're gonna say if you're gonna buy his stock right now. I know you guys are into the stock market.
Yes.
Tesla killing it. All-time high.
But are you currently buying Yusuf Nurkic's stock? He has been up and down this year. He's kind of gotten better in the past couple games. He just had his best game, so his stock's kind of going up right now.
That's interesting that
6 for 6.
That's interesting that you say that because that's funny because that was kind of going to be my buy or sell question. I'm going to go and throw mine out there just because it's kind of very, very similar, and then we'll kind of all three collectively answer the question, okay? So my question is, which kind of goes along with it is Nurkic. It's buy or sell. So currently, Yusuf Nurkic is averaging 11.1 points per game and 11.3 rebounds per game. Buy or sell, he finishes the season averaging a double-double.
I mean, I think I'm going to buy that. I think Nurkic averages 12 and 10 at least. I do think he's getting better. Like I said, he just had his best game. 15 and 17 is what it was, 6 for 6 from the field. So I'll buy that.
What about you, Cody?
I will too. Same reasons. I mean, I don't really have much more to say. I just think he's the player that we always look to. I mean, and he's always involved in every play.
It's true.
Either he's scoring or getting an assist, double-double. I think he can do it.
I will also buy it, actually, because I do think that he's a little more locked in. And, yeah, that's a great point. He is involved in every play. He's screening. He's catching the ball in the high post. I mean, he is touching the ball every play. And we're undersized as a lineup, and he's the one guy who can really grab boards. So I'm not concerned about points. I think he'll definitely average 11 or 12. I think that's it's just going to get 10 rebounds a game. he can kind of be a little lackluster sometimes, kind of lose focus, but I'll buy it.
I think it's all about that focus. But the last thing we'll do before we start wrapping up here soon is we'll just do a quick little sneak peek at the next week. We are about to play the Clippers again for the third time already in the first 11 games.
That's going to complete the season series.
Already?
I believe we only play them 3 times.
Well, that will be on TNT Tuesday night, and then we got Suns on a back-to-back, Rockets, Nuggets, all away games. So 4 away games this week.
It's a huge week.
All Western Conference teams, 3 pretty solid Western Conference teams. 1 shouldn't be too hard against the 1-8 Rockets. So
looking ahead, I'm looking at the Nuggets game as being really difficult to win.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Rockets as that's kind of the one game we should win. And then I see those first 2 games can go either way. We beat the doors off the Suns at home, which leads me to believe we're not going to this time. That's going to be a tough game in Phoenix. Yeah. And the Clippers are weird because it's Paul George and a bunch of nobodies. I'm just kidding. It's Paul George who's having an amazing season, but they've clapped us once. We clapped them once.
Those were 2 different games. If we make PG do the work, I think we're good.
That's why I think that Clippers game is going to be real close, and I think it's going to come down to is Dame hitting or not, because he's going to take late shots.
Would you say a 2-2 week is successful?
Yep. That's what I was looking at. If we go to if next podcast, we might do it before the Nuggets game, but I'm looking at 7-7.
I mean, this upcoming schedule, the rest of November is pretty brutal. I see
that is a gauntlet.
I see 2 games on there that we for sure should win, and that's against the Pistons and against the Rockets. I would say Kings, but they're 5-4, and we've already lost them this year. Other than that, we have all playoff teams.
And just another thing to look at this year. What are we at home? 5-1.
Ooh, I think
at home.
See. We are 1, 2.
I think I only remember
3,
1
4, 5, 5-1 at home. Our 1 loss is to the Kings,
which means that we are 0-4.
Advantage.
We are 0-4 away from Moda.
We have not won on the road yet. Wow, that is a good point.
We have gotten the doors beaten off us in LA, and we went on a 3-game swing to the East. Lost all 3. We had a 4-game road trip. If we go 2-2, I will take that.
Yeah, this road week is big.
We haven't won yet.
I mean, you would think we walk into a road win here. We're not going 0-4, surely.
Yeah,
surely.
Especially with Dame, if he can just have a solid, not even bad, just solid game like he did.
I would love to see Dame have a 30-point outbreak against the Clippers on national TV, just to remind the audience how good he is.
Yeah, all I would like to see against the Clippers is just good effort. I don't want to see a flat Blazers team coming off 2 days rest on national TV.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
2-2 is good. I'll take that.
It's a big week coming up. You don't want to fall behind the 8 ball like we did 2 years ago and find ourselves at 8-10 at this point in the season with a tough schedule coming up. I think if we could stay a little above 500 for the rest of this month, then it would be pretty good.
Kind of just looking at the standings, it's really early. Golden State's 7-1 and Utah is 7-2. But after that, okay, sure, Dallas is 6-3, but they just.
You see Lucas game winner today?
Yeah, I did see that. But other than that, there's kind of this logjam of kind of 500 teams, and I don't know. I just think if you can kind of stay around 500, maybe a little above, and then, we'll hopefully can go on a run when we get a softer part of the schedule.
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all we got for this episode. This was obviously a little bit of a different episode. We wanted to focus on more of the 2 main stories or main headlines of the Blazers, more so than the actual recaps, but we still wanted to give you guys some sort of a recap on the game. Again, we are hoping for a 2-2 week next week. Hopefully Dame heats up. Hopefully this controversy around Neil Olshey kind of simmers down, or we just get to the bottom of it. But any last words from you two before we finish?
You want to go, Cody?
Let's just hope Dame's not selling to go to LA, because I know he went to LeBron's house a couple of days ago. Just kidding. Go Blazers. Let's get a good week. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep. Go Blazers. I want to see a 2-2 trip. Great game from Dame tonight as the recording, obviously after the Lakers game. Yeah, I'm still feeling good about this year. Lost a couple games we shouldn't have. but a couple good victories. I'd like to see a good road trip and an energized Blazer team. Go Blazers.
So, guys, peace.
Bye.